Alright, hi everybody, it's Bankai922. Before I get into this Bleach review, several things I just want to, just put out there. Okay, EOP, he contacted me today, or yesterday I should say, going to do it tonight. Yeah, the interview with him is going to happen tonight. He's going to interview me tonight. Also, going to give kind of a shout out here. Blaze Bolt, Sniper. Saw your video, man. Yeah. Alright. Okay. I mean, hey, as far as the One Piece chapter is concerned, I'm more angry at, the whole plan that was going down there. It could have been done differently. They could have planned that whole plan out differently. But, he makes some good points, Blaze Bolt, and yeah. You can see that, Usopp might, you can see him doing something differently for next week. But that's not until next week. So, move on. Bleach chapter review. Chapter The Wind, 571. This one was pretty good. Now, Bleach. Yachiru. Now, this character, Yachiru, is like the most, when I mean, you really think about, and I just want to bring this up before I get into this review. You really think about Yachiru. I remember when Bleach was, when they first aired Bleach on Adult Swim, and you first saw Yachiru. You know how, mysterious Yachiru is? You haven't seen her fight ever. When I mean ever, I mean never, ever. She didn't fight in the Soul Society arc. She didn't fight in the Rank arc. She hasn't fought in any arc in Bleach canon. Never. And finally we reach the final arc in Bleach, and she fights? Unbelievable. For this chapter, I'm probably going to give this a 4 out of 5. Yeah, and this one was called A Devilish Perspective. Now, from last week, she got hit by the vanishing point. The explanation of this guy was kind of crazy. Supposedly he has 3 phases of his ability. Third phase is his existence is completely erased, like he was never there. His first phase, let's get into this, because the summary was kind of, and basically, she got hit, and we have Asane, and she's saying, "Oh, did something hit you, Captain? Lieutenant?" And she says no idea, and of course you have no idea, and we see this guy, this vanishing point, General Lee. And saying, he basically said, you will come to realize that you cannot remember me by sight, for that matter, by touch. Recall my very existence. And then it says, Bleach, title page, Bleach 571, Devilish Perspective. And she punches him again, but she doesn't hit him. And then he begins to explain his abilities. There are 3 phases to his abilities. Phase 1, I can make my form vanish. In phase 2, I can make my very existence vanish. While in phase 2, which I used just now, my form always lags a bit behind my existence, which means you struck is an illusion of me. So phase 2 basically, all you're hitting him with is his illusion, his afterimage. That's what you're basically saying. You're not actually hitting him specifically. A very, very complex power, that is what was explained to him. And he's saying, furthermore, I can switch from phase 2 to phase 1, meaning I can strike my opponent with them being none the wiser. And then he explains, on top of which, switching back from phase 1 to 2 is something I can accomplish in the blink of an eye, even my opponent's reflexes are such. And I can instantaneously counterattack any strike by at my position. It's too late, my essence will simply vanish. And he's like, so amusing, and then he basically he almost gets hit, and he says, oh, getting close, too close. In that case, time for phase 3. And in this one, my form and existence slips right out of your mind. Simply put, you forget that I ever existed. So basically, this complex power allows him to hit you while you can't hit him. You know, like with phase 2, he creates an after image. But with phase 3, he's completely gone. Now, even though he's able to do this, Yachiru still instinctively is striking him. So she just knows he's there. And he's like, I know and basically he says, I know we've done this song and dance before, but the pleasure's all mine. And she tries to hit him again, and she says he disappeared again. And he's like, who is this girl? You know, she's simply swung out of my reflexing, and as far as she's concerned, that shouldn't have been the first time ever she's met me. Wait a second. You know, and then from that, Isane's asking, how are you able to do this, you know, Lieutenant, and so on and so forth, and she's like, I'm pretty sure he was a bad guy. Pretty sure? It's like, how do you know, instinctively? And she explains, and V is basically saying to himself, how can she assume I'm an enemy in the first place? You know, how can you know this? Her reasoning down for future reference. That person, this is what she says, that person made my heart skip a beat. That's the translation in manga stream. And he's like, like, huh? Like, you gotta be kidding me, what kind of conclusion is that? And so you stupid wild brute. He gets really pissed off, this guy, V, and he's like, it's a pretty big deal. And Asane basically saying, does that mean your skin crawl? Is that a bad thing? Nope, it just means skip a beat. Kind of like the chills, the sweats, having your stomach tied in knots, all the same thing. Kind of like something like that. And that's when she goes into details, Yachiru. And when she said this, it opened a few things. It really did. It really made me think a lot about Bleach. A lot about Kenpachi. A lot about her. And it made me realize something. Maybe that's why Kubo, the wind. Anyway, that's why Kubo did what he did with this. Because, second when I go raise these blinds, they kind of don't even know what to do. Now those blinds are taken care of. That's why Kubo did what he did with it. Because maybe that's why Yachiru never fought. Because of Kenpachi. Because Zaraki was always there and would be fighting somebody. She didn't want to disturb him. She didn't want to go on, fighting with him. Because that's what she explained. She says see when Kenchan was around, he said, anyone that made him feel that way, he would cut him up into little pieces. But since Kenchan won't be around anymore, even if I cut them up into little pieces, I won't have to worry about taking Kenchan's fun away from him. So that's the important part. That's the real important part of, I think, this chapter in particular. And then after that, we basically have, what do we have? We have, he says, I'm going to make you suffer, and all this other stuff. And he's basically going to say, I'm going to make a clean blow, just die. And she almost hits him. And then there's no way you'll... And he gets striked. And I dodged it. And then she explains her zanpakuto, my blade hits the target, even if they can dodge. And I'm like, whoa, Yachiru, what's this? You know? Apparently, now when I heard this ability, I thought that it was similar to Kuraku. But no. See, Kuraku, his is like, two blades and has to do that game thing. But with hers, it's known as a copycat. And pretty much her sword copies her by, I think, 3 times. By once with her, and 2 with these other 2. Yeah. So it was really weird. I was like, wow, that's syntax. It's like, and he's like, my blade is a copycat sword in front of and behind. And saying that the entire space is in my field of vision. Even if I miss it, someone will hit it. Let me show you. Calm out. Then I was like, whoa. The moment I saw these 2 things, immediately I'm thinking hollows. I was like, wow. Like, this is, because you gotta remember, she was never done anything. She hasn't fought anyone. No one. In the history of this manga. History. It's just amazing. And she has this ability. Never used it until now. That blows me away. Like I said, 4 out of 5 for this one. And we see these 2, and basically she calls it Sanpo Kenju, which means triple stride sword beast. And sword beast, I was like, holy shit. And then it's like, you gotta be kidding me, this guy. And then at the end, she basically uses it. And it seems, and it says they attack in thrices. And that's it, the chapter. I was like, whoa. It was a big surprise for this chapter. There was a lot of things I knew Kubo was going to reveal in the final arc. He's going to reveal BANKAIS. He was going to reveal people's zanpakutos. This is like one character that I'm like, yo, she's done nothing. She's fought nobody. All Yachiru has done from the beginning of Bleach till now, up to before this fight, was follow Zaraki around. That was it. That was her, thing. And then when when Zaraki was fighting somebody, all she would do was watch. That's all she would do. Go back to the Arankar arc when he fought Noitora. She watched, and then she was Eiji and Hime. Even in Soul Society, she just watched. She didn't fight. She just watched. I'm like, it just boggles my mind that now we get to see this power is it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, this copycat ability. And I was looking at a few comments on Manga Stream. Yeah, they were, people were like, ooh, because the whole he was explaining his power and stuff. But that's basic shonen. And like I said, 4 out of 5 for this one. I'm guessing she defeated him. I'm gonna be really surprised. And I know this guy is pretty weak. It's true. He is pretty freaking weak. But still, I'm glad we got to see this. I'm glad we now have one more lieutenant where we've seen her zanpakuto, seen her abilities. So, like I said, 4 out of 5. Should be interesting next week. Looking forward to it. Bankai 922. I'll see you guys later. Tell me what you guys think. Comment below. See you.